I'm trying to look stoic, but sometimes you need to take a step back and look at the bigger picture, and then you realize something fascinating. The New England Patriots have been to 12 Super Bowls out of roughly 60. That's a lot. And they are currently sitting at 6-6. Tom Brady did a lot of lifting of that era, so it's possible you can make a major leap from basically being 0-2 in Super Bowls to having 6 rings, and then going 6-6. But it happens, and now we are in a dynamic of, well, hey everybody, Cortes, and I'm a critic, and welcome back. We're continuing our 2026 NFL Draft recap as training camp is just around the corner for almost every team except for 2. And the season is, we literally about a month and change away from the NFL season officially starting. Yay to us all. But to conclude the draft, we must talk about the AFC East. And today we'll be talking about the New England Patriots. A team that, like in every year, there's always a team that wins the Lombardi and loses us. And sometimes we fear more about the team that lost. What do they need to do to get back to the game? It feels like the Super Bowl defending champions have a much, maybe it seems harder, but somehow it feels like it's more difficult for the team that lost it than the team that won it. And with certain acquisitions of a certain division foe getting literally the Defensive Player of the Year and the Sackmaster Myles Garrett, it makes the NFC West a lot more dangerous. But that's for the West. We're talking about the East of the AFC. So today we're talking about the Patriots to see what did they do to rectify, rebuild, and prepare. And let's do all this without addressing the controversy of the coaching and his personal life. Let's talk about the Patriots. So going into the draft, there were talks about A.J. Brown going to the Patriots because Vrabel was there when he was at Tennessee and he was drafted by the Tennessee Titans. Pardon me, it's a little sick. So all that was speculating, but we were wondering, when were they going to make that announcement? When were they going to? So hindsight 2020, because they did not bring back Stephon Diggs. I feel like a lot of the receiving core of the Patriots was kind of B+, B- level. I mean, compared to, Lamar, Chase, Mahomes, Trevor Lawrence, heck, even Josh Allen, it felt like they were considered contenders with probably not the strongest of wide receivers. And 2 years ago, they made a major sizable attempt to get former Buccaneer wide receiver Chris Godwin. I said former when he's actually a Buccaneer fan, so forget what I said. But Godwin decided to stay in Tampa, and the way his performance was, maybe the Patriots probably dodged the bullet. And hopefully Tampa, we can hopefully see him return to Tampa Bay form this year after a full, complete, healthy season. But I was thinking that maybe this was like everyone else seemed like it. They were going to get their young quarterback who proved greatness on number 1 receiver. Or they were going to address the offensive alignment because maybe Caleb somehow laid an egg and people are kind of concerned where they're going to put with him. So, being Super Bowl champions and all, with the 28th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots selected Caleb Lemieux, offensive tackle, Utah. Now, last year, they actually drafted Campbell, out of LSU. He was considered one of the best offensive linemen in the draft. And then somehow, as the season went on, well, maybe his flaws were more exposed. Let's say that. And people start having doubts because as of right now, Will Campbell is not even viewed as the starter on the offensive line. He is viewed as a backup to James Hudson III. And Caleb, with James Hudson III, is a 27-year-old man, a fourth-round pick by the Cleveland Browns back in 2021. While Caleb is currently viewed as the backup right tackle to Morgan Moses, and if maybe the third string behind Will Campbell, which I'm going to say it's mainly been as an insurance policy in case, God forbid, the Campbell, why do you call him Caleb? The Campbell thing falls through. I don't know. A guy that's so highly, talked about, and then all of a sudden now his flaws are exposed in the most competitive games of the season, the playoffs, and now you're thinking, to my recollection, I don't remember this much conversation about any negativity to Will, to Mr. Campbell in it. But you're addressing the offensive tackle, and I don't want to say that Patriots are kind of like panicking or making second guesses, but it sounds a bit like an insurance policy for you guys by getting another offensive tackle, and in some cases putting him literally in the position to back up or take over. Just saying. It's a good pickup, whether you get a wide receiver for your quarterback or you get the insurance of the offensive lineman. I get it. And since Drake May has shown such great promise with, no disrespect, lesser known wide receivers, or maybe they knew the A.J. Brown thing was going to happen anyway, so they're like, we're going to get A.J. Brown. We're going to have to force it in the draft. So maybe that's what they did. Now, Mike Vrabel has always been viewed as a defensive-minded head coach. I think he has proven himself to be that way. He made choices to leave his football career early to go become a linebacker coach at Ohio State, and then worked his way up, and now he's probably, besides his personal life issues, we're going to put that to the back, we're going to talk about him as a coach. I think we were kind of thinking, with a lot of defensive players leaving the Patriots, a lot of them were major contributors to the defensive front that we saw, especially in the front seven. We kind of felt like, okay, are we going to just put reassurance on that one? And they did with their next pick. With the 55th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots selected Gabe Jacas, edge, Illinois. This was another player I was hearing that Tampa was potentially considering, but with Ruben Bain getting picked up, everybody disappeared. And one analysis says that it reminded him of Brian Orakpo, which, for those of you who don't remember, Brian Orakpo was this edge player out of Texas, who I thought he played well, but there's a part where I felt like, and then he disappeared. Like his presence on the defensive line side. I'm trying to pull up his information right here to get better evaluation. He was drafted by the Commanders. But yeah. Wow, he was a 13th overall pick. He played a little over 10 years. He's a 4-time Pro Bowler. He did all the trophy, everything he did. But yeah. 6'3", 263. He's shorter and a lot heavier than I thought, but he was relentless. He was one of the better. He was part of the better pass rushers I saw in the day and age, and I just can't help but feel like. And then he just disappeared. He quietly was good and then just disappeared. 66 sacks, probably could have had more. But going back to the Patriots here with Gabe, I mean, where they're going to put him? The 3-4 defense. They're Christian Ellis. They got Harold Landry, who has been a journeyman of himself. And where are they going to put you? They currently have you at the weak side behind Harold Landry. So a good veteran to learn from, someone who has spent time in this league and has been, the focal point on multiple 3-4 defenses and had success later in his career. I think it's a good mentorship. Probably getting the rotation. But to me, this feels like if he is well as he's projected, which I believe he is going to keep the defense of the Patriots without missing a step, even the players they happen to lose during free agency. Then we go to the third round. With the 95th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots selected Eli Raridon, tight end, Notre Dame. Hunter Henry is, how do I say this? He's getting kind of old. Hunter Henry has been in the league. Yeah, he happened to reach the dreaded age of 31. And looks like he'll be 32 by December. And he has been nothing short of successful for the Patriots, especially after the plethora of tight ends have come around for the Patriots in years past. But he has been available, even though he wasn't necessarily a part of the Patriots. In the long run, he was initially drafted by the Chargers. He has been a go-to wide receiver. And even before Drake May, he was the go-to wide receiver to help a young upping Mac Jones, who was another rookie. So I guess Eli is meant to be, I'm not going to say the heir apparent. I'm just going to say to give options for probably a two tight ends. So the Patriots and Mike Vrabel have been there when the Patriots ran with two different tight ends. We had Watson, we had Benjamin Moore, we had Ben, we had Gronk, we had this guy named Aaron Hernandez, which was at the time effective before his personal issues destroyed everything. But at the time, that Patriot had a very successful two tight end set that was very successful before Gronk even got there. So to me, maybe they're trying to bring back the two tight end system setup. Maybe trying to get more options. That's where I'll believe into this one. And if possible, maybe because Hunter Henry happened to reach that dreaded age of 30, and by the end of the year, by December, he'll be 32. So obviously, you want to prepare for the future in the next 2 or 3 years. Heaven forbid a definite injury Hunter Henry's played. Hunter Henry is still playing at a high level. And maybe with the acquisition of Romeo Doubs and A.J. Brown, maybe his catch will be limited, but that he's still very, very valuable. And I think every good quarterback loves a good solid tight end to be the safety valve in the middle. So Hunter Henry, he keep playing on a high level fine, and Eli will just come in and be, he'll learn. He'll learn under Hunter, but I can't help but feel like maybe Vrabel's trying to bring back the two tight end system that was so successful when he was a Patriot. Just saying, and if it does work, I kind of said it 12th. Then we go to the 5th round with the 171st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The New England Patriots selected Caron Prunty, corner, Wake Forest. It is still amazing how much Gonzalez did for the Patriots in the Super Bowl, let alone the season, but in the Super Bowl, he was so good. And then when they picked him out of Oregon years ago, and how quickly he not only became one of the better players, but the leadership and his command of the defense, and him not letting that pressure drown him as a young man in this league, it's amazing. And then you just and I mean, Carlton Davis, I think Carlton Davis is a good number 2 when it comes to corner. I feel like when he was in Tampa, when he helped us win a Super Bowl, I always felt like it was Sean Murphy Bunting and maybe Jamel Dean that I felt like was helping us. Carlton Davis was a good, solid, I mean, he wasn't an intercepting machine. I feel like he was good at dealing with, the contact with the wide receivers, getting in position to, if nothing else, just make sure the ball is hard to catch or, worst case, uncatchable. I never look at Carlton Davis as an intercepting magnet. Gonzalez, as great as he is, I always feel like he's a ball hawk, but I feel like some of his greater success was his defending the ball skills. Those full extensions, getting the right position, getting his hand in between the wide receiver's hand just to get the ball out. So, looking into it like this for the Patriots, corner wasn't really in need. And looking at his versatility, I mean, he's a multi-time transfer. Don't even have his schematics here. Where say they're gonna put him? They currently have him behind Gonzalez on the depth chart. Let me take a look at his schematics. 6'2", 192. Okay, so rotation purposes, and maybe because Carlton Davis is a little more aging veteran. He has played in the league a lot longer than others, especially Gonzalez. So maybe if he learns on Gonzalez, maybe he takes over the ranks in left. They're not putting him in nickel, so maybe this is just rotation purposes, learn from Gonzalez, and get in there. And who knows, maybe he'll make his mark on special team his rookie season. Then we go to the 6th round with the 196th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The New England Patriots selected Demetrius Crownover, offensive tackle, Texas A&M. Is this an insurance policy for the insurance policy? let's see. They currently have Crownover as the backup behind Caleb, the first overall pick for the Patriots, and the right tackle behind Morgan Moses. And they currently just have him stick strictly at the right side, while Caleb is being viewed as potentially left and right. Versatility keys him there. But for this, I don't want to put speculation, but let's play conspiracy theory here. Campbell happens to underperform. Caleb comes in and takes over at the left tackle, and then they put Crownover on the right tackle, and that's your Patriots offensive tackle for the next 6-7 years. Not saying they're trying to pressure Campbell, but a lot of criticisms of the Patriots' run for the Super Bowl was Campbell's performance against the better defensive sides. And say what you want to say about that. Some Patriot fans will defend him, some Patriot fans will hate him, and some of us are just like, his name was brought up a lot more for criticism than praises for a young rookie. Can't help but feel like insurance? Is this insurance? I could be completely wrong, but just looking at the depth chart, I can't help but feel like they already positioned these two rookies that got in this draft class to be the next left and right tackle, and one of them even right behind the guy they picked the year before. So we'll see what he does in preseason development, and like I said, I'm just throwing a conspiracy. I could be completely wrong, but two offensive tackles after you got probably one of the better offensive tackles the year before, and then the season ended with a lot of criticism about his ability, can't help but feel like that maybe there's a small sense of, just to be safe, let's get two tackles. And then, still in the 6th round, with the 212th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots selected Nabi Obizar, linebacker TCU. Now, I believe is he the guy that's going to come in as edge? Let me take a look here. No, they currently have a middle behind Christian Ellis. Christian Ellis, who 27 years old, played his time well. You guys got KJ Britt. As a Buccaneer fan, I got some notes about KJ Britt. KJ Britt is a good downhill running linebacker. Not really the best in coverage. And there are times where we were contemplating Servassier Dennis or KJ Britt to be the replacement because Levante, as Miss Old Step young man he was, we prefer him versus the other two potentially younger linebackers for us. So, and then you have Christian and Robert, who I think Robert Spillman has been great acquisition. I think he has been, one of those linebackers that has been kind of like an Alex Alazzoni, the one the Bucks got, a guy that had been around different team, but then later in his career he started to solidify himself as what kind of linebacker he is. That's where I feel like I see him as. And Nabi being behind Christian and Robert, like I said, KJ Britt's a little bit like, didn't work out for us, it'll work out for you. Another defensive-minded young man in Mike Rabel. But in case it doesn't, I think Nabi might be the better acquisition moving forward. And I will say that maybe he is meant to be probably at best the third middle linebacker of a 3-4 defense. So there's two spots. I feel like Nabi, if he develops quickly, he will get more playing time before others. Then we go to the 7th round, which they have 3 picks in the 7th round. With the 234th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots selected Benner Morton, quarterback, Texas Tech. We have a quarterback. I'm just kidding. No, we don't. This is the question I always want to kind of ask, because I really believe in my philosophy of NFL players drafting players is that everyone they draft. They use one of their 7 picks or whatever amount they have. There is that potential of If he has to start, he will start, whether it's this year or the years to come. But we picking you, if not to start this year, but we picked it with a hope that you'll be more than just a backup. At least that's my philosophy. The 7 players they draft every year, every team has, the standard 7 is always to me, these are 7 starters in the making. When will they be starters? Who knows? But to me, I always view them as 7. So when teams that have already young players, especially the quarterback position, and you are drafting a quarterback, I can't help but contradict my own philosophy of why you need a quarterback then. Now, some quarterbacks have maybe injuries, like Lamar Jackson at times. Ankle injuries kind of make people feel scared, so you get someone to potentially replace them. But I just can't help but feel like, why do you want to put that pressure on your young quarterback? Drake May was one vote from the NFL MVP. He went to the Super Bowl. I'm not going to say they're doubting him. I don't know why they would. But getting a young quarterback just feels like he's going to be a backup for basically his entire time in New England. God forbid a devastating injury thrusts him into the starting lineup. So maybe the philosophers are the same thing. They're just thinking if Drake May, God forbid, gets ACL injury hurt, knock on wood, I'm not hoping for that. And if the time comes for Morton, I mean, they got Tommy DeVito in there too, so they're good people. They're good. They are good. Forget about it. They got Tommy. It's good. But in God forbid that happens, and somehow Morton becomes the starting quarterback for the Patriots in Week 10 in a crucial need to win, whatever, or need to win a few games or whatever. I can't help but feel like you drafted him because you have this mentality that if he happened to become a starter for your team, he will be able to do the job. It's just that you already have Drake May. He's done so well for you. That's my thing. So, a long talk for a quarterback and trying to contradict my own philosophy of draft picks. It just always makes me go, why? Why? And the question becomes, you don't think he'll be available in free agency after the draft? Just saying. Then we go still in the 7th round with a 245th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The New England Patriots selected Jam Miller, running back, Alabama. I said last year that Henderson, the pick they got from Ohio State, was the most excited player I was, and I think he made everybody that was thinking maybe or okay be like, I can see it. I can see it. Not saying that Stevenson is not viable. I think they have the perfect Thunder and Light Thunder and Lightning 1-2 punch. And then you got Miller, who right now is currently not even viewed as a backup. He's not even on the top 4 running back line for these guys. That maybe it's an investment. He's only 5'10", 200 pounds. Running a solid 4.4 40. We'll probably see some upside in it, but man, I don't know. Stevenson is currently 28 years old. He was a 4th-round pick, did very well. Fourth-round pick, solidify himself there. So, like I said, they have Terrell Jennings and Lan Larson currently as the 3rd and 4th string. So we don't see where Jam Miller is, but we'll see what he does. Is he? No, I thought maybe they'll put him as a returner, but I see, of course, Marcus Jones and others. So I don't know. I don't know where the Patriots see him. But in this league of running backs, it's more running back by committee and no more workhorses. So I don't know. We'll see what he does in preseason, and that'll be the big bite waiting for us all. And then with the last pick, 2 picks later, funny enough, in the 7th round, with the 247th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the New England Patriots selected Quantavius Hutchins, edge, Boston College. Vrabel is a 3-4 defensive linebacker edge kind of guy. Can't help but feel like that maybe this became like well, Vrabel, you picked the last guy. Who do you think we can develop? And it's when you have a coach that either specializes in a certain position, you kind of be like, okay, You specialize in running back. You specialize in offensive lineman. You specialize in the middle lineman. You specialize in corner, special team. Maybe this is a pick that says to Vrabel, I played this position. I kind of know what it entails. I've won Super Bowls with this position. Let me take a shot at this young man, even though he's 247th overall. But let me take a shot at him. So they get their last pick. Happens to be this young man out of Boston College. And stats aside, he's average. 6'3", 233. A little lighter than expected. Probably had raw potential. There's probably something there in his film that Vrabel says, I see intangibles. I see something there. And the beautiful thing about it is that he may not have to be thrust into it. But I feel like the Patriots last year had a very good success with rotations of players. They didn't really have like their Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett solo focus rusher that they had in the past. So maybe that's what it is. He has potential. He's raw. We develop him. See what happens. If he does something this year, fine. But the future is brighter for him, and that's the point. This is a Vrabel pick. And that's the New England Patriots. Player I'm most excited about? Give me Gabe. Edge, Illinois. Mainly because I heard a lot more about him because the Buccaneers were on the potential of getting him. Depends how the draft goes. But of course, I got Ruben Bain, so it didn't matter. But let's go with Gabe. He's the one I'm most excited about. The Patriots were really, really good at getting after quarterbacks and really, really good in that defense. And since he is the first rookie of this class after the Super Bowl run they had, led by a very strong defense, I can't help but feel like they picked you because they wanted to make sure the defense stays as it was last year, and Caleb was meant to be the assurance. Grade I give the Patriots. It is really hard to give a grade to a team that went to the Super Bowl. Trust me, when I talk about the Seahawks, it's going to be harder to talk about what can they do better. What can they get back? I feel every pick was valuable. And that's not even including the free agency, the two wide receivers, Dobbs and Brown. So not taking those gentlemen into account as much as I would love to, I feel like this draft class makes the Patriots better. Contenders. They had an easy schedule last year. That was the big complaint. And then when they lost the Super Bowl, that was the big complaint against them. So I'm going to say better. Could they win the division again? Yes. Could they get to the divisional? Yes. Would you be surprised if they go to the conference? No. Do you see them winning the conference? No. Based on the draft. They are better. And if they go to the conference championship with the help of this rookie class, I'll believe it. But I just feel like we'll see a better team with a tougher schedule now. And then we'll see how good Drake May really is, or maybe it was a fluke. Well, that's for the preview. And that's the Patriots. I had a lot of picks. Next, we're going to go down to Buffalo and talk about the Buffalo Bills and see... Dude, the window is closing, man. The window is closing. So, chop chop. But that's for the Bills, not the Patriots. The Bills is yeah. But until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.